Picking a game to play is hard. With so many options out there, sales running all the time, there's never been a better or worse time to have video games as a hobby. I make videos on game backlogs, and today, to aid you in your quest to beat your backlog, I've compiled a list of 7-ish methods to pick a game to play. Some of these are methods I've tried myself, some of them I found on Reddit, some have been suggested by folks on our Discord server. So instead of staring at your backlog for hours and feeling that Netflix effect of too many options and no hope of picking something, instead, I hope this video gives you practical tips to actually find something to play. So here we go. First, play the game you want to play. It is easy to get in self-defeating mode, or worse, playing your backlog feels like a chore or something you have to do. It sucks the fun out of games entirely. Instead, take a deep breath in a moment to remind yourself of these 3 truths. Playing games is fun. Playing games is a fine way to spend your free time. And playing games shouldn't feel like a chore. Sure, some games, very specific games, are developed as an experience and might not be classified as fun or entertainment, but the majority of video games should be enjoyed thoroughly. So to the point, if you've been working on your backlog, but you'd rather be teaming up with friends in Apex or replaying Dark Souls again for the 10th time, like, seriously, just go do that instead. Play the game you want to play. If your backlog feels like a chore, you aren't obligated to play it. Heck, maybe you'd rather read a book or go out for a bit. Go do that. Make a drink. Seriously, backlog games should be fun. If they aren't, don't get down on yourself. Pick good, short games to play. An easy way to deal with a sizable backlog is trying to build momentum. When faced with a lot of good options, it's going to be tough to find the right ones for you. I've talked about this in another video about analysis paralysis, but finding good and short games is a great way to trim your backlog and find good experiences quickly. To do it, first open up your list of backlog games and pull up how long to beat. Start plugging your games into the search engine and find the ones shortest on your list. Next, if you can cross-reference your list with Metacritic or a review aggregator, even better. The goal isn't just to play short games, but to find the short games and then look at their reception to get the best of these shorter games. Anything over 75 out of 100 is probably a good pick. By playing a few of these, you'll find that over the span of 10 to 20 hours of backlog gaming, you've probably beaten 2 to 3 games. For someone struggling with a huge number of backlog games, this is a great way to start building confidence. You can do it. Play the opposite game. This one is simple. Sometimes it's easy to grind through a bunch of puzzle games at once, but depending on how you're feeling, you might get tired of another shooter. Or maybe you just finished a 60-hour JRPG and you don't really want to get right into another. Play the opposite game. Say you have the Uncharted collection and you just finished Uncharted 2. If you're like me and you went immediately to Uncharted 3, you probably got burned out because you just finished Uncharted 1. Don't be me. Uncharted is a fast-paced, narrative-driven, exciting adventure romp. I just kept getting more and more of it. What I should have done is gone for an indie game, like Heat Signature. Sort of in the vein of Hotline Miami, you control a little space vagabond, raid ships, get cool skills, and you typically stealth around to rob technology and other goods. Instead, I freaking burned out on Uncharted and adventure games to the point that I barely even want to play Uncharted 4 to this day. Even Tomb Raider doesn't sound that exciting to me. So learn my lesson. Consider what you are currently playing and find something totally different. Or you could be like me and you just really love shooters and puzzles, and that's basically all you've been playing for the last year. Finish games you've already started. Currently, I associate my Nintendo Switch with puzzles like Picross. Very fun series, by the way. Over the last year, I've been working on Octopath Traveler. This means I've put a lot of JRPGs on my Switch on hold. However, eventually, one day, possibly, sometime, I'm looking forward to beating Octopath because I want to start playing Astral Chain. Those games are both on Switch, but one is a slower 2D-ish RPG, while the other is an adventure, cyberpunkish action detective game. I know if I was to start another JRPG on the Switch, I'd 1, never finish Octopath, 2, I'd end up not making much progress because Octopath would loom over me. So if you're jumping from game to game, you might feel stuck on your backlog because you're not making any progress on finishing games. If beating games is your metric for working through your backlog and enjoying gaming, then find those games you've started, go back to them, get them done. Trust in RNG. Sometimes picking games to play gets so daunting you don't know where to start. Have no fear, RNGesus is here to help. If you're okay giving your free time away to fate, try one of these methods. This Steam Scenario Generator app allows you to plug in your Steam ID, set some parameters, and boom. This app will pull a random, and I mean random, game from your Steam library and a random achievement from that game for you to complete. Yes, it's random, I warned you. Or try this method. Take 5 games from your backlog, send that list to 5 different people, and instruct each person to pick one from the list. Maybe don't even tell them these are games, just say, hey, pick one of these. Any game that gets picked, you play. I told you, this is random. If you have your backlog in a list format already, this next method is easier, but assign your backlog to a numbered list, then use a random number generator. Set your in and out points, and click generate. And now you have a random game from your backlog to play. If you don't like the result, well, I warned you, this is random. Fresh install. Something a member of our Discord brought up was the idea of uninstalling everything to get a fresh start. I really like this approach. There's something about having a bunch of installed games that you hardly play or don't touch that just kind of feel annoying or challenging to get started with. It's like having a bunch of junk on your desk and trying to work. For me, I get pretty distracted by all of the stuff, so I want to clean it up, and then when I do, it's easy to get started on a project. So internet speed pending, maybe you have data limits and all that. It's not a bad idea to wipe the slate and start from scratch. Actually, every time I've tried this fresh install approach, getting started has been pretty easy. I'm able to see nothing, and starting from scratch makes it pretty clear to me which games I've been wanting to play and which ones are just taking up space. Gamify your backlog. I'll continue harping on gamification because it works. Gamification, which is the idea of taking something and adding rules, points, scoring, win objectives to it, whatever it is. Could be chores, could be working out. For me, gamification has made things that are usually a chore or difficult into something that can be fun and conquered. On our Discord, we run backlog games throughout the year, from backlog genre battles to a 4-season run of backlog golf. These methods can get you into a group where you can still lurk, I promise, but also where you and others can get on the same page and beat your backlogs together. Seriously, doing this as a team effort makes a huge difference in morale and puts you in a place to be successful with your backlog instead of feeling lost and frustrated and alone. Plus, being able to vent your hot take gaming opinions or backlog frustrations with other people is a very helpful way to process and to chat. So that's the list. If you enjoyed this video, you have your own tips on how to pick games to play, leave a comment below and let me know. I make backlog gaming content on this channel, so check out my other videos and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.